Mary, thank you. From the Now Desk this morning, exemptions from routine vaccines among kindergartners increased to a record high. New data from the CDC is looking at the 2025-26 school year across the country. Exemptions went up to that record high of 4.2% from 3.6% the year before. During the 2020-21 school year, the exemption rate was 2.2%. The CDC says the majority of exemptions were for non-medical reasons. More of the data shows in the midst of a record-breaking year of measles cases, the percentage of kindergartners who received the MMR vaccine went down to 94.4%. That's below the 95% rate before the pandemic. It's also below the threshold doctors say is needed to keep herd immunity. The MMR vaccine is for measles, mumps, rubella. The data also breaks down chicken pox and other vaccines. Health officials say they are not sure if the increase in these exemptions is because more parents oppose routine childhood vaccines or if there are barriers that are keeping them from vaccinating their kids, be it financial or something else. And we have a map right here looking at the data this morning. We wanted to compare and look at Wisconsin. The data shows Idaho had the highest exemption rate, both medical and non-medical, during the 2025-26 school year. But when it comes to the MMR vaccine, just to compare, Wisconsin comes just after Idaho with the second lowest MMR vaccine rate. And we'll get all of this information linked under the Safety Desk tab so you can look at it for yourself, WBAY.com. Health officials say during and after the pandemic, a lot of people were separated from their medical care. And right now, some doctors think there is just confusion and stress around vaccines, which is a good conversation to have with your child's pediatrician. Steve.